Hey everyone. I was just thinking that I could make a quick video demonstrating some of just the very basics with embroidery, hopefully enough to where you feel confident to go pick up some supplies. So the two examples I'm going to do, these are my own drawings. So this is fabric I bought, cut it, and I drew this with a embroidery marker, so the lines are very thick. I drew this with an embroidery pen, so these lines were a lot finer. But if you aren't really into drawing but still want to learn to embroider, you don't have to be this great sketcher to embroider. Many people buy like iron-ons. There's lots of like kits that have all the colors that you need for that particular design, and come with all the tools and things. And that's actually where ours started, was doing the kits, and it was a step-by-step, and that was really great. I still had to watch quite a few YouTube videos and things because the kits don't always explain things great. So anyways, I'm gonna show you some of the basics. So for this guy, because I used this thicker line, I'm gonna split this into 3 and not 1. So for this evolutions over here, I just did 1, but it's because those lines are finer. Let's see. So we're gonna split this. Into 3. When I use 3 versus 1, I'm going to use a needle that is a little bit bigger, where this one, the hole is a little smaller. I'm going to thread it. Also, I didn't say this, I just kind of did it. When you want to like never have it too much longer than your wrist to elbow, because you will run into more problems as far as getting tangles, which I learned the hard way and could not figure out why. I was like getting into all of this trouble with like knots and things. Okay, so I've knotted this end and I've tied it onto the needle. Now I'm gonna pick a starting spot. I'm gonna just pick right here in the middle. So this first stitch that I'm gonna do is called back stitching, and it's really great for outlining things. Yeah, so it's my favorite for outlining. So I'm gonna pull it through, find a spot, and then I'm gonna come up and make sure I'm going into the hole that I came out of. And this is just back stitching. I always think of my kids watch the Green Eggs and Ham show sometimes, and I'm always wanting to sing the theme song, but change the words to watch me backstitch, watch me backstitch. It's funny, it's always in my head when I backstitch. So okay, so that's some back stitching. It's literally just going into the hole that you came out of, following your line. So, okay. And this particular type of marker, like you can see the blue here, you can wash this and that would fade over time. You would have to just let it sit in the water for a little bit. So it would be okay that you didn't hit it perfectly, because you can eliminate some of those lines later. Okay, so for this next one, I'm gonna measure to my elbow. And I'll also suggest that you just buy the needle nose scissors, because this pointed area really helps you if you mess up, like to pull the thread out. So for this one, instead of splitting it 3, I've just been splitting it 1 way, because this is a super detailed one. Okay. So this next stitch I'm going to show you is called a straight stitch. And it's really great for filling in like large areas. It's good for, I think, like the fur effect too. Yeah, but I've been using mostly back stitching and straight stitching for like all my Egyptian deities, all of I'm trying to think. I do a lot of anime and things like that, and that's the 2 stitches I use. When I do flowers, like floral or landscape, then I'm going to be getting into more elaborate textures. But for the most part, you can basically do anything with just these 2 stitches. And then you would just learn more as you go when you're like, oh wow, this would look really cool with some texture. I'm going to learn a new stitch today. But you don't have to totally overwhelm yourself with learning all of them at once. So I'm going to reference my drawing, and I'm going to work on his head right now. So I'm going to try to get exactly into this line, and I'm going to measure it to see, okay, can I go straight? Can I go straight? I can, kind of. Pull it through, and then I'm just going to kind of fill in the area. This kind of pulled through and then not pulled through some. When you just use one string, it's a lot more forgiving. So if you don't go like perfectly straight with your stitch, like it's not as noticeable as you fill it in. So yeah, I'll just do a couple more. For this one that I'm working on, I watercolored the background. So unlike this other one that I could put in water and erase my original lines, I wouldn't be able to do that with this one because it would mess up my watercolor background. So that's why I end up just using a fine line pen. That way my details can be more exact. And I know I know that I'll be able to stay in the lines really well. So but yeah, these are straight stitches, and I'm just literally going in a row, kind of in a row. I jump around a little bit to start new lines sometimes, and then fill in that little area. But yeah, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna continue to do that. Even over here with these little guys, I'm gonna come right in. And you don't want it to come through the black line. It needs to not go through. And then you want to get as close as you possibly can. I notice with beginners that, I think like you develop a certain patience as you do it. But when I was a beginner, and what I see often is that like you're moving really quick, you're getting this project done, but you could have maybe moved slower and made sure that you were going exactly into where you needed to go instead of speeding through it. But we all have to start somewhere, so that's cool too. So yeah, hopefully this helps get you inspired and to realize that embroidery is not super hard. It looks really intricate, and that's because you do have to, this particular one, I probably have about 9 to 10 hours in it. So it's not necessarily hard, it's just time consuming. But like this guy over here, I could probably do this whole project in probably like 5 hours. So it's really the size hoop you have and then how many stitches, because obviously if you're using 3 threads versus 1 thread, it's going to fill it in more quickly and add a lot more texture. So yeah, so that's really up to you. But yeah, hopefully you guys like this and enjoy your day.